Welcome to the Scam Economy with your host, Matt Bender.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Scam Economy. It's been a little while since we've had an episode of this show. My name is Matt Binder, just in case this is your first time listening to Scam Economy. You might know me from my other shows, the various shows I'm on. But Scam Economy is back right here to talk about not crypto, but the other big tech hype bubble that I've been alluding to as, was sort of going to be this major fixture probably of this show in the near future. Geez, I don't know how many months ago. And here we are. Now, on this episode of the show, we are going to focus on what's been going on with OpenAI, which, if you're unfamiliar, they are the big AI company. They are the company that have cemented themselves as the what Google is to search, what Apple is to smartphones, what Microsoft is to PCs. OpenAI has managed to cement themselves as the AI company. And we're going to talk about this most recent event, I guess you can call it, this controversy, this drama that has unfolded in recent days over their new AI voice assistant and the actress Scarlett Johansson. I mean, if this sounds a little bit wild to you, just, on its face, it is pretty crazy. It is pretty wild. It is pretty out there that this is actually a thing, that this major tech company went ahead and did this, and everyone called them out for it, and they tried to, I guess it's not that shocking, right? We have been taught, just that, I guess not to backtrack on what I was saying. This is sort of like a free-flowing, monologue as thoughts are popping in my mind. But this is sort of what we've seen, right, from all these tech companies for decades now. The whole ship fast, break stuff sort of model that we've been seeing from the tech industry for decades now. Only, when it comes to things like crypto, when people are investing their hard-earned money on your promises, or AI, where people are being promised things and people are losing their jobs because of those promises made to people who are who employ them, we're seeing some real world damage. Now, it's funny that I mentioned crypto up top because, as I've also brought up in previous episodes of this show, OpenAI's founder and CEO, Sam Altman, who we'll be talking about a lot in this episode. But just to get this out of the way, because, Scam Economy is known for being the show that's bread and butter is crypto criticism. Sam Altman is sort of like a sketchy guy for a variety of reasons, and we'll get into the AI reasons. But he also runs a crypto project called WorldCoin. And I've had episodes on this, and you should go back and listen to previous episodes of Scam Economy. But we've talked about this, and Sam Altman's WorldCoin crypto project is still growing. Last time I saw, I believe just last month, they announced they were going to roll out their own blockchain. But what this WorldCoin project is doing is it literally, the whole premise of it is that they have this like orb or sphere, and they bring it around the world. And they tell people, just everyday, ordinary people all over the world, a lot of people in, developing nations where this promise is very, it's sort of a good offer for them, I guess you can say. It lures them in. They bring this orb around, and they will give you their crypto token, WorldCoin, in exchange for you letting the company scan your eyeballs with this orb. Take your biometric data. Freaky, isn't it? Just recently, actually, Hong Kong told WorldCoin to cease their operations in Hong Kong. Because they claim that WorldCoin breaches their privacy laws. We'll get deeper into WorldCoin. We'll come back to WorldCoin again, but again, go back into the Scam Economy archives, check out our WorldCoin episode, probably episodes. We definitely did one full-blown WorldCoin episode about how they were sort of taking advantage of people in developing nations. But we definitely brought it up in probably numerous episodes. But that's Sam Altman for you. And so what is he up to now? Well, most people know Sam Altman as the CEO of OpenAI, and people are probably most familiar with him regarding the drama that happened, late last year, early this year, around basically Sam Altman being pushed out of the company by OpenAI's board of directors. And then a number of the employees basically said, we're walking if you don't bring Altman back. There's all this drama. It's still unclear exactly what the board forced Altman out for is. Like, it's never really been shared. The discussion around it has basically been that other OpenAI executives who work closely with Altman were worried about the direction of the company and the AI safety protocols that Altman was basically starting to ignore in order to further grow the company. That's what has gotten out there, but it's still untold exactly what it was that rose to the level of the board of directors basically giving Altman the boot. We don't know still to this day. But he came back to the company, and here we are today where OpenAI just, this was last week now, so they basically announced 2 weeks ago, they announced sort of at the last minute that they were going to hold an event before Google's Google I/O event. And, Google and then Microsoft held their own event recently, and both Microsoft and Google had all this AI, future products and features to promote. Once again, stuff that they are promising the world, promising a lot. They're showcasing these video demos, but then they're saying that we don't have anything to show you in terms of it actually being deployed. You can't use it yet. We can't show you real-time, on-stage demos. This is just, who knows if they edited this, put it together by their creative team, and it's not actually the product. It most likely is that to an extent, if not completely that. But long story short, Microsoft, Google, and it's still, it really baffles me that you got search engine and PC conglomerates, huge mega billion-dollar corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporations, basically completely pivoting to AI, ruining their own products in certain aspects with Google search engine, and Microsoft just implementing AI chatbots everywhere, from their own search engine Bing to the Microsoft Office suite to the Windows operating system itself. This is all stuff we'll get into on future episodes in a deeper manner, but it's worth mentioning here up top as sort of getting us to where we are now. that these companies are, Google and Microsoft, are basically scared by OpenAI. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they feel the need to totally jump into this AI hype bubble. But anyway, back to the point. So Google had their I.O. event long announced for last week. I believe it was May 14th. And so the week before that, at the last minute, OpenAI says they have an event that they are going to do the day before on May 13th. And so there was a lot of speculation that OpenAI was going to launch a search engine to compete with Google, and Google was certainly worried about that. Their stock got hit by that news. But then it came out that OpenAI was not going to unveil a search engine. They were instead going to unveil a new AI voice assistant. Well, really, a first for OpenAI. It would be their first sort of AI voice assistant. Again, this is the company behind ChatGPT, the super popular app, quickest to 1 million downloads app in history when it launched late 2 years ago, early last year. And it's an AI chatbot. You talk to it. It spits out information that sometimes is accurate, sometimes is not accurate, sometimes is half accurate, half inaccurate. The whole point, though, is that it's this large language model trained on all this data in order to sound as human as possible. I guess the impressive thing is it could form paragraphs and sentences and not sound totally like a machine, although if you know certain words that and phrases that it seems to fall back on over and over again, you can tell sometimes. But that's what OpenAI is best known for. And now they had a voice assistant, AI-powered voice assistant. So at this event on May 13th, they show off this voice assistant, and unlike Microsoft and Google, they do have an on-stage demo for this voice assistant, meaning the voice assistant was ready to go. It was far enough along where it was an actual product with an actual, ability for people to use it. And here we go. Let's jump right into this voice assistant. You know what? Why don't I play a video of this presentation by OpenAI of this voice assistant? Let's pull up just any video here. Give me 1 second. Let's see what we got here. All right, here is an OpenAI voice assistant demo.
Today, we're going to try something new. I'm going to let you talk to another AI. This AI is going to be able to see the world. It's going to have a camera. I'll be holding it, and so you can direct it, you can direct me to ask questions about whatever you want them to do, but really try to figure out what does it see and ask questions appropriately. How does that sound?
Well. Just when I thought things couldn't get any more interesting. Talking to another AI that can see the world? This sounds like a plot twist in the AI universe. All right, let's do this.
All right,
I'm ready
please
to meet the...
pause for 1 moment.
You got it.
All right, you get the gist here. And I got to say, when I first heard this, I thought for voice assistant capabilities, it was sort of impressive in terms of what's out there on the market. It does sound more conversational, for example, in terms of the tone and the flow of the voice. It has sort of the ability to showcase emotions and emphasize certain words based on where they're placed in a sentence and what's being conveyed. Much better than, for example, Google's voice assistant or Apple's Siri, which is just ridiculously bad, and Amazon's Alexa. But it was also quite clear to me and many other people that this voice assistant sounded kind of similar to something else, right? Like you've heard this voice before in this same sort of capacity. But that's not possible, right? This is OpenAI's big sort of debut, I guess you can say, of this voice at this event. They call this voice Sky. And I personally hadn't seen any other tech company come out with this. So what exactly was so similar about it? Well, you don't really have to guess for long, nor do you need to go to anybody else to sort of guess for you, because Sam Altman of OpenAI actually wanted people to know exactly what it was reminiscent of and what he was going for. Because Sam Altman, as the event is happening and people are hearing this voice, and some people are also saying, okay, it definitely sounds like this voice. Sam Altman tweets out, her, just her. And if you're unfamiliar, that's a reference to the Spike Jonze film starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson, in a movie about a man who develops a relationship with an AI voice assistant. And Scarlett Johansson plays the AI voice assistant. And everybody was saying just how much this voice sounded like Scarlett Johansson. And here you have Sam Altman of OpenAI basically confirming that this is where he got the inspiration from for this voice, at least the inspiration, at the bare minimum inspiration. And he's saying that. That's exactly what he's saying here. Now, the discussion around what this sounded like was so overwhelming that on May 19th, OpenAI randomly posts a blog on their website, a blog post on their website, how the voices for ChatGPT were chosen. Here, let me pull this up on the screen if you're watching the live stream episode. And it says, we worked with industry-leading casting and directing professionals to narrow down over 400 submissions before selecting the 5 voices. And let me zoom in here. Voice mode is one of the most beloved features in ChatGPT. Each of the 5 distinct voices you hear has been carefully selected through an extensive process spanning 5 months, involving professional voice actors, talent agencies, casting directors, and industry advisors. Blah, 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 blah. We're sharing more on how the voices were chosen. And then all of a sudden, how many paragraphs down? 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs down. Under the "we support the creative community and collaborated with the voice acting industry," H2 subheader. There's a paragraph that says, we believe that AI voices should not deliberately mimic a celebrity's distinctive voice. Sky's voice is not an imitation of Scarlett Johansson, but belongs to a different professional actress using her own natural speaking voice. To protect their privacy, we cannot share the names of our voice talents. Now, when I first read this, I thought that was kind of weird. These are voice actors. I mean, this is the entertainment industry. These are actors. They usually do want their name out there. The reason you don't hear their name is in the case where the company makes them sign an NDA and doesn't want there to be a face to the voice they use. So, I have to assume that in this scenario, OpenAI hired these actors and actresses, if what they say is true, had them sign an NDA and said, this is work for hire. We're paying you. We don't want people, sort of, I guess, like a ghostwriter for a book. We don't want people to know who you are. We're paying you whatever for your voice for this AI, which will be the voice of one of the voices of this AI assistant. This is the job. If you accept, you agree to these terms. I cannot think of a scenario where a voice actor would not want their name out there if they were given the opportunity to do so. But anyway, keep that in mind while we move ahead in this story. So, this is sort of the discussion, like, why did they come out and do that? This is kind of weird. And then Monday, all of a sudden, what was it? Was it Monday? Yes, Monday. OpenAI all of a sudden just removes the Sky voice. Did they put out a statement for that? Yeah, they did agree to remove the statement. No, that was the statement, the one that I read. That's what they referred people to. The one about Sky's voice is not an imitation of Scarlett Johansson's voice. To protect their privacy, we cannot share the name of our voice talents. But then they end up removing the Sky voice. Excuse me. So now, fast forward to a couple hours later on Monday, and then Scarlett Johansson herself releases a statement. Let's pull the statement up on the screen, and I'll read it. Last September, this is Scarlett Johansson. Last September, I received I guess I could have used the Sky voice. I'm sure a version of it's out there to read this for us, but that seems inappropriate based on what's what we're doing. And I do have more clips to play so you could hear it closer. But listen to what Scarlett Johansson has to say, because this is when this came out, I was truly like, wow, like this is even further along than I thought. I thought they just were like, Sam Altman likes the movie Her, maybe, and this is what he wants to sort of have the voice be like. And they probably have plausible deniability. But then Scarlett Johansson comes out with this. Last September, I received an offer from Sam Altman, who wanted to hire me to voice the current Chat GPT 4.0 system. He told me that he felt that by my voicing the system, I could bridge the gap between tech companies and creatives and help consumers to feel comfortable with the seismic shift concerning humans and AI. He said he felt that my voice would be comforting to people. Note that, by the way, when we go back to that point, because that's ridiculous. Scarlett Johansson continues. After much consideration and for personal reasons, I declined the offer. 9 months later, my friends, family, and the general public all noted how much the newest system named Sky sounded like me. When I heard the released demo, I was shocked, angered, and in disbelief that Mr. Altman would pursue a voice that sounded so eerily similar to mine that my closest friends and news outlets could not tell the difference. Mr. Altman even insinuated that the similarity was intentional, tweeting a single word, her, a reference to the film in which I voiced a chat system, Samantha, who forms an intimate relationship with a human. 2 days before the Chat GPT-4 demo was released, Mr. Altman contacted my agent, asking me to reconsider. Before we could connect, the system was out there. So he reached out to her twice. Now, we know. She continues. As a result of their actions, I was forced to hire legal counsel who wrote 2 letters to Mr. Altman and OpenAI setting out what they had done and asking them to detail the exact process by which they created the Sky voice. Consequently, OpenAI reluctantly agreed to take down the Sky voice. In a time when we are grappling with deepfakes and the protection of our own likeness, our own work, our own identities, I believe these are questions that deserve absolute clarity. I look forward to resolution in the form of transparency and the passage of appropriate legislation to help ensure that individual rights are protected. So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. First of all, let's mention that end part, because we won't come back to that, but because that's probably gonna be an episode for another day, where governments will get involved here, especially now that they're going after celebrities allegedly here. I mean, if they could do this to Scarlett Johansson, imagine what they could do to you, or imagine what they've already done to you, just like they've allegedly already done this to Scarlett Johansson. As of right now, she has not filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, but that could change. We'll see. I do think this would be a sort of a lawsuit to pursue, honestly. But let's go back to a few things here. So what Scarlett Johansson is asking for, and why I had some sort of clarifiers around OpenAI's claims that they used a voice actress who they just interestingly don't want to name, because this is one of the only voice actresses in the world, I guess, who want privacy and don't want people to know who they are, don't want to be put in the credits. I mean, it certainly has happened throughout history of actresses, actors, celebrities not wanting their name in the credits because they worked on a project that they are not proud of. But I mean, seems bizarre here. So what Scarlett Johansson is asking is the exact process by which they created the Sky Voice. So she wants to know, okay, did they actually record a voice actress? Or, and this is a big question here, did they just train their AI system on Scarlett Johansson's voice and have it just actually mimic Scarlett Johansson herself? Now, let's listen to this side by side. I have a clip here of Scarlett Johansson talking, just herself. And then a clip from the movie Her, where Scarlett Johansson voices the AI voice assistant Samantha. And then another clip of OpenAI's Sky Voice. Let's take a listen and sort of try to determine what we're hearing here, right?
I mean, obviously. He still is. Dirty Dancing was like such a formative part of my youth. I think it was Patrick Swayze and David Bowie in Labyrinth when I was like, oh, sexuality. It was opened my eyes to some other thing. Hello, I'm here.
And now that was Scarlett Johansson, just herself, the actress, in an interview. Here is her doing the voice of Samantha opposite Joaquin Phoenix in Spike Jonze's Her.
Oh. Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm well. How's everything with you?
Pretty good, actually. It's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too. Oh, what do I call you? Do you have a name?
Yes. Samantha.
Leigh, where'd you get that name from?
I gave it to myself, actually.
How come?
'Cause I like the sound of it. Samantha.
I like to think I have my own unique strengths. I can understand and generate human-like text pretty well. It really depends on what you're looking for in an assistant. What specific tasks or features.
By the way, I should say that this is now OpenAI's Sky Voice. Let me rewind again so you could hear.
I like to think I have my own unique strengths. I can understand and generate human-like text pretty well. It really depends on what you're looking for in an assistant. What specific tasks or features are you interested in? I can help you figure out if I'm the right fit for your needs.
Now, listen. We can argue whether this sounds like Scarlett Johansson or not. I think there are certainly certain points where it sounds exactly like her. And then there are some moments I've heard from the Sky Voice that would just sounded similar to her, but maybe was a different person. And I should say that when AI voices mimic someone else, they don't always get their exact voice down for every sort of emotion being displayed or tone it's sought out for. For example, I've heard the Trump and Biden AI voices. I'm sure some of you have heard. There's various ones out there. Sometimes it sounds like them. For example, if it's trained on a video of Trump or Biden where they're expressing the same exact tone or emotion that you're going for with the AI voice, it'll sound a lot like them. And then if you're going for something that's completely different, like you want Trump or Biden singing a song, it'll sort of sound like them, but not exactly. This could be that. We don't know. This could very well be Scarlett Johansson's voice that they trained their AI model on to be Scarlett Johansson. Or they could have got a voice actress that sounds a lot like Scarlett Johansson. We can argue about that all day. And I'm sure lawyers would argue about that all day. And there would be a lot less to argue about, honestly, if it wasn't for these issues that we have now with OpenAI that we know about. For example, all right, let's go back to the fact. Like let's put it this way. We know they're not being truthful here. We know OpenAI is not telling us everything. We know that. Because here's one example. Washington Post tech culture writer Natasha Tiku came out after just within the past couple of days with all this happening, saying that she went to an OpenAI demo event in September where they showed her the Sky Voice in an early demo for journalists and press of the voice assistant. And she noted, she says, how much it sounded like Scarlett Johansson. And they denied deliberately copying her likeness, Johansson's likeness. But at the same time, even if you're not like trying to copy her likeness with another, like let's say they didn't train her voice and it's actually a completely separate person, a real person doing a voice that's supposed to give the feel, the aura of Scarlett Johansson in her. I mean, they come out and say it. Like I said, you have Sam Altman during the demo last week tweeting out her, posting her. They're not trying to hide it. They just didn't think they would get in trouble for it. They didn't think it'd be any big deal. And then when you combine this with things like this, let's pull this clip up. When you have OpenAI CTO Mira Murati just maybe a month or two ago, in an interview with Wall Street Journal.
What data was used?
Here, let's play this clip. She's asked about, again, she's the CTO. She should know these things. And she's asked what data is being used to train their products. And listen to her answer. And if you're listening to the podcast, she has some amazing facial features where she tries her hardest to look absolutely befuddled and confused by what is essentially a very simple and straightforward line of questioning.
What data was used to train Sora?
Sora, by the way, is OpenAI's yet to be released. They've demoed it. They've showed it off. I should say. Well, let me tell you what it is first. It's their AI video product where they're claiming you type in some text and Sora will pump out exactly what you want film video wise, like moving image wise. What they didn't mention in their demo was that it was heavily edited in post-production by special effects artists and rotoscope artists to get the exact effect they wanted without telling people in the demo, without telling people in the video what exactly they were watching. But that's, again, we get further into that. But just really another layer of OpenAI not being truthful to the audience, to users, to the public. So here is CTO, OpenAI CTO Mira Murati being asked a very simple and straightforward question that every single one of these AI companies should be able to answer. What data is their AI model trained on?
What data was used to train Sora?
We used publicly available data and licensed data.
And what does that mean? Let's find out.
So, videos on YouTube?
I'm actually not sure about that.
Okay. Videos from
How are you not sure about that? First of all, the face, it was the facial feature of her really trying to visibly show that she's really trying hard to think. This is something you know. I'm sorry. This is something you know. This is literally how your product works. And you're the CTO. You know exactly. No one's asking the exact, give us the title of all the videos. They're saying what platforms broadly is the data being trained on. You know. And you don't want to tell people. That's why.
from Facebook, Instagram?
You know, if they were publicly available, publicly available to use, there might be the data, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not confident about it.
What about Shutterstock? I know you guys have a deal with them.
I'm just not going to go into the details of the data that was used.
Right,
But
that's
it was publicly available or licensed data.
That's
What
the
data
more.
was
That's the more honest answer there at the very end, even though she's not exactly conveying what she should be saying. They will not share the data with us because very likely they are using your data. Very likely they are training it on the entirety of everything that's out there. Any creative output you've ever put out there, text, audio, visual, they're eating it up and using it to become a multi-billion-dollar company without your permission. Straight up. It's very likely what's going on. And they don't want to just openly say that because there's issues there, obviously. And any issues that don't already exist, certainly those legal issues, those policies will change over time to address what's going on here. But back to specifically Scarlett Johansson. Now, again, we know that they haven't been truthful about data and what they use to train their models with. We know via Scarlett Johansson that they tried to get her multiple times to do the voice herself. We know they won't share who did the voice, or if the voice was trained by AI. They're not being truthful about a number of aspects there. But on top of this it's super clear this is what Sam Altman's been going for. The Samantha voice in her. He shared before, in September of last year, his feelings on that movie. He calls it the greatest movie about artificial intelligence. Here's that clip in an interview at a Salesforce event. Let me just cue it up here.
When you watch all these kind of unusual movies about artificial intelligence, you know, Minority Report or HAL or Her or War Games or all these various things, you know, there's been so many of them. You know, which one is your favorite?
I like Her.
Which part of Her do you look at and go, this is never going to happen?
Well, I mean, a ton of it. But I think that's not the fair question because looking back at sci-fi, it's always easy
Can you just fill in that last that part that, you know, which part is going to happen? Which part do you think will never?
Yeah. But I think it's like unfair to dunk on old sci-fi for all the parts they got wrong, and we can cover that.
This is unrelated, really. This is a side note, but I really want to point out what he thinks is cool to do with creative work that he has no rights to. Don't dunk on it for being wrong about technology that it speculates we'll have in the future for the purpose of a fictional narrative. That's not cool. What is cool is taking that movie you have no rights to and using it to create something that just impersonates it, copies it outright with no permission, and gives no credit even to the original work. That is cool. Let's continue.
Like, that's always true. What's amazing is that people get it right at all. And the number of things that I think her got right that were not obvious at the time, like the whole interaction model with how humans are going to use an AI, this idea that it is going to be this like conversational language interface, that was incredibly prophetic and certainly more than a little bit inspired us. So it's, it's not just like a prophecy, it's like an influenced shot or whatever. But I think this idea that we all have like a personalized agent trying to help us, and we talk to it like we talk to, ChatGPT, that was actually not what most movies thought if we interacted with an AI at all, it was gonna be like robots shooting us or something. But
you think that will be happening soon?
I do not. I realize it like is a compelling movie, but no, I don't. I think, it'd be great for Hollywood to have some new tropes. But yeah, I think her got something deeply right on the interface, and that is no small feat.
It's very bizarre to hear these supposedly extremely smart people just completely not get the point of movies. The fact that her was an inspiration for OpenAI is quite stunning. I mean, the movie, if you haven't seen it, it's about a decade old now. It's not very uplifting. It's not very upbeat. It's very sad and depressing. And the sort of moral of the story is that humans need human interaction. Joaquin Phoenix's character does not get what he actually needs out of this AI voice assistant. The idea that this was seen as like an inspiration, I got to create that product in that movie is stunning. These guys just don't. These guys are clueless. Now, listen. There is precedent here for anyone who's a naysayer and thinks that Scarlett Johansson is just being a bitter celebrity out to get a payday or whatever. I mean, after everything you've heard, they approached her multiple times. You got Sam Altman literally sharing the name of the movie as this demo is happening, on top of everything else I just showed you. There is precedent here. Now, there are two previous cases in the 80s and 90s. One is Bette Midler, who sued Ford, the car company, for over an ad campaign for the Mercury Sable. They wanted to play songs sung by, big artists from the 70s in order to give that nostalgic feel that the ad was going for. They asked Bette Midler to do the song for the commercial. She turned it down. They went ahead and got a Bette Midler voice impersonator to do the ad instead. She sued them because that's her likeness. And she won. The court ruled in her favor. Her voice was being used in an unauthorized manner. It did not matter that it wasn't her voice specifically, like coming out of her mouth, but it was someone very specifically doing a voice impression of her. In the 90s, Frito-Lay had an impersonator, a Tom Waits impersonator, do a commercial singing a song as Waits. He also sued, and he won. He won more than Bette Midler. I believe Bette Midler won a few $100,000, maybe $500,000. He won $2.5 million because Frito-Lay went ahead and hired a Tom Waits impersonator to do Tom Waits' voice in a commercial, specifically so people thought it was Tom Waits endorsing or at least working with them to sell a product. You can't do that. Like, this is their likeness. This is who they are, what they have. This is their product. This is their brand. This is how they make money. And a lot of these tech guys don't get that because they don't view creative work as equivalent to their work. Because if it was the equivalent sort of output from them, they would without a doubt go after their company, whatever company was doing it, in a lawsuit. If some company was doing Chat GPT or something like that and trying to call it Chat GPT to promote their own product, they would without a doubt go after it, because the whole point is another business is using their likeness, their product, to sell their own. And that's what Frito-Lay did to Waits. That's what Ford did to Midler. And that's what OpenAI is trying to do with Johansson. If it was close enough to Johansson, which a lot of people, if this many people automatically assumed it was her or it's supposed to sound like her, it seems pretty obvious what they were going for, even before you have the founder and CEO of the company openly saying that's the case by referencing the movie. You have them trying to use her likeness, that call back to that movie Her, to sell their AI voice assistant product. And they think they'll get away with it. That's why they did it. It's that simple. And these guys, they do it because we're not only in a hype bubble when it comes to AI, but AI has without a doubt cemented its footprint with all the various products and bullshit promises we've seen. AI cemented that footprint in the scam economy. All right, folks, that is the episode for today. If you'd like to support this show, all my shows, everything that I do, please be sure to go to patreon.com/MattBinder to subscribe with a monthly monetary donation. And basically, you make sure this show continues. You make sure my other show, Doomed, continues. You make sure all the shows and content I put out there continue. And you help fund the ability for me to broaden out my content creating abilities and do even more. So patreon.com/MattBinder. You know what? There was a bunch of patrons actually who joined over the past week. Let me shout them out really quick. Thank you to NC Sketchy, Andrew S, Lux, Phantom 7K, Jacob D, Cola Addict, Leftist Cajun, and Lucy G. Thank you all so much for becoming patrons. And you could join them at patreon.com/MattBinder. You could also go to youtube.com/MattBinder and subscribe to the YouTube channel where the live stream show is aired and where I upload videos and other content. You can also drop super chats if you're watching the live stream version of this show, and I will read them on air in the second half listener call-in section of the show. What else? You can go to twitch.tv/MattBinder where the live stream is multicasted. You could follow me there. twitch.tv/MattBinder. And you can, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, connect your Amazon account to your Twitch account, and you get a free Twitch Prime subscription every month to give to your favorite creator. At no extra cost to you, you get to give some of your Amazon Prime money to your favorite creator so Jeff Bezos doesn't hoard all of your Amazon Prime subscription fees. Be sure to do that. What else? Scameconomy.com for the audio version of the show. You could also check it out at Apple Podcasts and Spotify and wherever you listen to podcasts. If you haven't already left a review for Scam Economy, be sure to do so. You can check out my other show at doomedcast.com. And with all that said, I'm going to now go, because I'm doing this live right now, I'm going to go to the second half of the show for people watching the live stream. And for Patreon subscribers, all you have to do is stick around, and I will take your calls, read your super chats and questions and more. We'll have a good time. If you are listening to the free version of Scam Economy on whatever your podcast platform of choice is, this is where I say to you, I will see you all next time on the Scam Economy. Today on Dirt.
Ecological collapse, corporate fascism, corporate journalism, police brutality, voter suppression, austerity economics, education masses, rampant homophobia,
What's up, Matt?
Hey,
You from Jamaica?
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend? What are we going to talk about today? I don't think you are exactly what you think you are. I would say you're a conservative. What makes you a liberal? I'm pro-Green New Deal. Are you? Yes, really? Absolutely. I have watched the show. I've seen you completely come out and get really mad at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for some of the things in the Green New Deal.
You mean like free college for black people?
All right, we are back. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I see people are what's going on here? People are confused about the the going to the second half song, but the fact of the matter is Scam Economy doesn't have its own going to the second half of this show song, so I had to play the doomed one. I saw the Rangers lost 3-0 to the Panthers. Ugh, not good. It's just game one, but that's not a good way to start. All right, let's go to the phones. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, wait, hold on. Something's going on with Skype. Two people on the line at the same time. Hold on. Now I got one person on. Okay, good. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is America's Mayor Rudolph Giuliani.
Hey, Rudy, how you doing?
Things are looking up since the launch of Rudy.Coffee. I'm sure you've heard about it.
I
It's
have
the
heard
talk
about
of the
that.
town.
Is that why you're calling into Scam Economy?
Well, that's one of the reasons for sure. I was hoping to get you to try Rudy.coffee.
Rudy.coffee. Tell me about it. Tell me a little bit about it. Is it just coffee?
We have roast coffee. We have the decaf for the quiet times in your life, the many quiet times, the beautiful romantic quiet times, and we also have the other brand, the hard roast, the hard roast.
Whoa, you sound a little bit like Trump there for a second. The hard roast.
Well, Matt, I've been silenced by the woke mob. You've seen this.
All right.
WABC in New York, can you believe it, has been taken over by the globalists.
Have they really? What happened to WABC?
They fired me. That's what they did.
Really? Did they fire you?
They took away my free speech. They took away my program, Matt.
They did fire you. Look at that.
You have your happy little program here on YouTube.
WABC is the conservative. That's the conservative right-wing radio channel in New York. How do you get fired from that one, Rudy?
They said that they were subject to legal fees because of me saying the name of those two horrible women in Georgia.
Oh.
Who just defaced my name, who have ruined my good name as a prosecutor.
Is that what happened? You had nothing to do with it? You're innocent?
That's what happened. That's what happened. And now I have to pay them $148 million. This isn't the country. This isn't the America I grew. America, what happened to you?
Well, you go to sound a little bit like like Trump again.
You saw my speech at the RNC when I said that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Rudy.coffee, Rudy Steaks, Rudy Cigars. We have many new Rudy products that we're going to be launching very soon. And hopefully with the profits that we make from this, plus some kind donations from some rich people, I'll be able to pay this debt to those two horrible women. I'm been silenced. I'm not even allowed to say their name anymore.
Well, for good reason.
This isn't America. This isn't America. And also, we're releasing America's Mayor, the board game. The board game, I'm told you control a simulation of the Southern District of New York as you fight crime, just like I did.
Really? I gotta check this out. I didn't know you were releasing a board game.
Yes. I just told you about it. We haven't launched it yet. We haven't.
I know you just told me about it. I mean, I didn't hear about it before you told me. That's obviously what I meant, Rudy. What's going on with you?
I watched your program. It was very interesting. You're very, very interesting.
Thank you.
And I wanted you to know. I guess I can say this now. That ChatGPT called me about doing a voice. He wanted Rudy to be, and I would have been very happy to do that.
Hold on. Hold on. What was? Let me read the Scarlett Johansson statement where she says what Sam Altman pitched to her, why her voice would be good for ChatGPT.
Oh, right.
Scarlett Johansson said, he told me that he felt that by my voicing the system, I could bridge the gap between tech companies and creatives and help consumers to feel comfortable with that seismic shift concerning humans and AI. He said he felt that my voice would be comforting to people. Did Sam Altman give you the same pitch?
That's exactly what he said to me. That's exactly what he said to me. I can't believe she released it though. I was under an NDA. I couldn't release it until just now when she came out with it. Since she broke the NDA, I figure I could break it too.
Well, she didn't break any NDA because she didn't sign anything with them.
What I'm doing, I'm really getting in on this AI thing. After watching your episode of Scam Economy, I'm really getting in on this AI thing.
Wait, so this episode inspired you to get into? So you have an understanding of this episode, much like Sam Altman had an understanding of the movie Her.
Her who?
Oh my God! All right, well,
What are you talking about?
no, just the movie that I discussed in this whole episode.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah, the Spike
Oh
Jones
no,
film.
no, I wasn't in. I wasn't in the movie.
No,
No, I wasn't
know,
in that movie.
I know you weren't in the.
What we're going to do is we're going to take my brain. They've already done this. They've scanned my brain.
They scanned your brain.
They've scanned my brain and they've taken all the massive wealth of knowledge that I have, the decision-making smarts that America's mayor has, and they put it onto a flash drive. They said it was 2 gigs. That's pretty amazing. They could squeeze it down now. They can squeeze it down. It's pretty amazing.
Well, that's because I'm pretty sure they didn't have to do anything more to it. It's probably already compressed.
Oh, it's the thing is though.
Did I leave you voiceless there, Rudy?
I'm speechless.
Speechless, I meant to say. Talk about voices too much of this episode.
You've made me speechless, Matthew. But I just want to know. I just wanted you should be able to call WABC and tell them that you and Rudy back on the air.
All right, maybe we'll put together a campaign for you. How does that sound? We'll do a call-in campaign to get Rudy back on the air. Does that sound good?
That sounds wonderful, Matthew.
Can I ask you? Now that I have you, you went viral recently because I don't know if you know you went viral, but you went viral because recently.
I don't have a.
You were served papers for your case in Arizona.
My birthday celebration. Oh, what a wonderful time. I had beautiful women there, and I said, "Oh, those are my titties." And then they attacked me. They came at me.
There's video of it. They didn't really attack you. There's
they tried to assassinate President Trump. They came at me. They had guns. They had guns with them. And
I didn't see that. What are you talking about?
I think they had guns with them. I mean, they looked like they probably had guns with them. Would you be interested in buying an Upper East Side residence?
How much? If it's a real good deal, maybe I will.
Well, I've actually reduced the price. It's bargain basement prices, Matt. Basement prices.
What are we talking about?
5.7 mil.
What?
5.7 mil.
Oh well, it's a little bit out of my my budget there, Mayor Giuliani.
I tell you about the assassination.
Whoa, sir, you're breaking up here. You're breaking up.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
Hello. Uh-oh, you're breaking up. I'm here. Are you here? Now I can hear you.
Have I told you about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump?
The what? You're breaking up, Rudy. You're breaking up. I'm sorry. You want to try to call back in, see if we can get a better connection?
I have to go. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here.
Okay, Rudy.
Thank you, Matthew.
Take care.
Have a great day. MAGA.
You too, Rudy. Have a great night.
MAGA. Rudy.coffee. Rudy.coffee.
Okay. Oh, my God. Let's go back to the phones. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's going on, man?
Hey, Hansi, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Hold on, let me just pull you up
hear me?
on the... I can. Let me just pull you up on the screen here. Give me 1 second. Skype is going really slow for me for some reason. Not sure what's going on, but here, let me pull you up on the screen. It should be fine. Hey, Hansi, how you doing?
Maybe the Illuminati's after you.
Maybe. What would you like to talk about, my friend?
No, that's cool. Dude, why are you turning your show into a sports entertainment central show now?
It's just people calling in. What am I supposed to do? People like to call in and show off their impressions. Who am I to judge?
I'm not knocking, but I mean, I thought last week was a little bit overkill. You had like three.
3 in a row is, I agree. 3 in a row maybe is too much. I think maybe, especially when we start off with, I don't want to spoil who does the Trump and RFK Jr. and Giuliani voice. But when we start on a high note with that, it's sort of hard to follow it up. But last week, actually, I thought all 3 callers did a pretty good job.
You know, I guess what they called. I got on last week, but then I hung up prematurely, and I couldn't get back on, and I was really fucking pissed off. But
Why were you pissed off?
I mean, no, I mean, listen, man. Sometimes I want to talk, but then at the same time, I'm like, I like talking to you, but then at the same time, I realize I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna fucking complain about the overall state of the world, and I'll rattle off some conspiracies, and then you'll be like, well, yeah, I guess I can see some of those points.
Is that what I do every time?
And it just, I mean, lately you've been doing that, and I feel like I'm losing favor on the show, basically.
No, you're not losing favor on this show. Why don't we just jump into what you want to talk about today, and we could take it from there.
Okay, it's my issue. Okay, listen, man. Listen. This is not like making fun of anyone who does leftist shit, right? I know you guys do all platforms, but I really do feel there's a common thread, where I think a lot of you on the people on the left, we rely on celebrities to we give them props for the bare minimum, when I feel like we miss the fucking strategy that somebody can do because they know it's benefit. Like, mean that, like, regular person who supports Palestine, I understand that. What they call political activists, I understand that. But when when people literally fall because some celebrity changed their opinion, which, again, to me, I don't really trust them. It's like more about strategy because they know they'll get favor from, like, you know, the hardcore fans that, like, are opposing it. And I feel like sometimes people use these celebrities way fucking too much. I know they're powerful, so you gotta rely on their word and all that. But I feel like a lot of people are missing the bigger picture, that some of these fucking people are also political propagandists. And I feel like we are so blinded by the entertainment that what they call where we rely on, like, the celebrity fucking culture, if that makes sense.
No, I sort of see what you're saying. No, I'm joking, Hansi. No, you're absolutely right on this one. People do put too much into pop culture and celebrities. Now, listen, I'm not saying they are completely divorced from the world, and that they certainly do play a role in pop culture, and celebrities do play a role in world events and politics. But I do agree that people tend to give them an outsized role. Simply put, sometimes, Taylor Swift could come out on an issue and it just simply won't matter. Like, they aren't all that powerful. Money-wise, they're powerful. Politically, policy-wise, they're not.
Well, see, that's where I disagree, because I feel like in this day and age, that what they call a lot of fucking, like, for example, that guy Harrison Butker, right? Now, on the surface, it's just his opinion. He's a celebrity, blah blah blah. But I believe, because there's fundamentalist elements, and I feel like there's cogs in the machine that are being used by their billionaire, like, in the UFC. A bunch of UFC fighters will say anti-woke stuff. We'll go at the cogs, obviously, but I feel like okay, you can say it's just their opinion, but I do feel like there is billionaire interest in getting celebrities to manufacture consent. Because if you follow a celebrity and you don't look at yourself as political, and they sneak in a political issue like trans issues, and you don't know much about it, what they're called, that can manufacture fucking consent. Like, people, like, we can get mad at Bill Maher and get mad at Joe Rogan, but, like, we'll say they're dumb, but I don't think they're dumb. I think what they do is very strategic, and I think it manufactures consent. That's what's important about the issue to me. But people in, like, leftist spaces especially don't see it. And that's why a lot of people end up going more conspiratorially. Because I feel like a lot of people, I get it, conspiracies are fucking like outrageous, and a lot of times it's right wing people making money off them to go more right wing. But I do think there's a legitimate conspiratorial element where you can go more fucking left. And I feel like people on the left push people away, and that's how people go more right wing with conspiracies. Because people have no one else to go to when people who are in like the alt media brush off conspiracies as a whole. Like and that's fine. I get it, man. It's like not easy for everyone. But once you see the overall picture, like I think I'm seeing it, like it's hard for me to look away in that regard. Like these celebrities are important because they do manufacture consent. Do you watch the show The Boys?
I did watch the first season, and it's a great show, but I haven't been able to catch up with it. Why? What about it?
Well, I say that like in that element, The Boys, if you replace superheroes with celebrities, I feel that show is very relevant in how our society fucking works, basically. Like I imagine the world working like that in that regard, where like people are government agents who are celebrities in that regard and all that kind of stuff. They're superheroes to us and all that, and we buy into the so like you should watch later seasons because it shows you how the world works and like how they divide us with like culture war issues and all that kind of shit.
Right. No, I think you definitely have a point.
That's cool. That's cool. I listen. I this is the one show I can call into and kind of fucking like at least bring in my narrative of what a conspiracy is, okay? Because I understand they're not well received with everyone in these circles for some reason, right? And I just feel like sometimes it's a dangerous move. So I feel like that's the way, like by me not being able to talk to people who are liberal or left about, let's say, some of my conspiracies, it's like then I go on the internet and then other people will be like, oh, I believe in this conspiracy. But then I'll get radicalized by these people who will then go, well, did you know the Holocaust never happened? And it's like that's what becomes dangerous, and that's why I think I'm just saying. So like what to call it? Like sometimes when people who think conspiratorially, because there's enough out there for us to think, okay, what we're seeing is not what we're actually being told about shit, and it's really really obvious, and then no one has anyone to go to. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I feel like people in the left space don't really openly like see the fucking vision, like don't see the vision. Like I'm not saying you agree with me, but at least you let me get my fucking point out. And if you want to fucking call me nutso and all that bullshit and say it's all in my fucking head, you can say that, I guess, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I just feel kind of disillusioned because I think I'm losing like a need to follow any type of media anymore because all it turns out to be it's like no one's covering the news. It's like people become characters and become the fucking news themselves. Even the people that are supposed to be giving you the news, it's all about conflict all the fucking time. Even with stuff like there's enough conflict in the world, and I feel like some of these Twitch streamers beefs and all that kind of shit. It just to me, it's like okay, I don't need to focus on the world anymore really because I don't know if I'm getting satisfied with the media I'm taking in, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I mean it's probably an issue. What you're describing sounds like what a lot of people sort of struggle with when it comes to I guess their like media diet, I guess you can call it, in terms of like what they can go to get trustworthy information that also, covers things the way they should be covered and doesn't, just because someone might be telling truth and facts doesn't mean they're covering. There's also a choice in what they're covering, and a lot of times based on funding or what the parent company is or who's behind what. That's not always obvious and it's not always clear.
No, I get you. Listen, I didn't want to waste your time.
Why you come on the show and act like you're wasting my time? That's a waste of my time. It's a good conversation, Hansi.
No, I get that, but sometimes I feel like I'm good in small doses, and I feel like if I like come on too much of the show, I think my familiarity will breed contempt, basically, from like you or your audience and all that. So I get paranoid because I don't want to repeat of what happened with the fucking Stern show. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that took me in a
Well,
really but like by the
That's
way,
very
Stuttering-
nice of you. I don't think anyone watching the show is under the belief that this is Howard Stern and that I'm for my own whack pack and you're gonna
Well,
be.
I mean, you probably should, but no, but I mean, listen, you can do your own whack pack to do good instead of like like throwing baloney at people's asses and shit like that. But
That's actually
like, for example,
I don't recall that one. That's oh yeah, I think I do actually. That sounds fun. That's gonna be on the show now. You just gave me some inspiration.
but like for example, like Stuttering, like do you know Stuttering John from the Howard Stern show?
Yeah,
Like, are you familiar with Stuttering John?
I know who he is. Yes.
Okay, well, but because all these guys who leave the Stern show, they end up in their own little circle on the internet, and they start feuding with each other. And I've done a good job in avoiding like those fucking circles of people, of people like associated with the show, because just recently there was a guy that used to call into the Howard Stern show, and he used to be associated with one of the fucking girlfriends of the either girlfriend of the writers, and she does her own show, and she went viral recently for like punching a guy in the face. And then
I
he
saw
started
this.
fucking
I
pulling her
did. I
hair,
know
basically.
exactly what you're talking
Right.
about.
Right. So one of the guys that was on her show is named Jimmy the Christian, player from New Jersey, and just recently he turned himself in on camera, and he gave the police storage like a UBS, and he said there's more storage. And what's it called? It was the document was posted online, so I read his confession. Dude, this guy's confessing from crimes from 1970 to like 2017, where it's molestation, jerking off in churches, and all that kind of shit. And then it makes me glad that I dodge these, because when I was periscoping on that app Periscope, people would come to me and try to be friendly with me. And because I don't have resources to do background checks, I don't know who's a sex offender. I don't know who's fucked up. But like, I try to avoid having those people in my life, even though like I don't consider online real life. But like, I've never really interacted with a lot of these guys. But it's like I dodged a bullet because that girl who that guy was on the show with, that girl wanted me on her show a long time ago when I got kicked off the Stern show. And it's like I didn't want to be associated with Stern related shit. So that's why I come and find better communities and not like those type of scumbag communities. Because dude, it's like it disgusts me because it's like I could have been in that world where like I'm like so tethered to that kind of fucking shit where like I gotta do fucking crimes against humanity. Like that's why I'm glad I avoided that shit. And I feel like Stuttering John contacted me to be on his show because he wanted to talk about something I said about some other comedian that he's feuding with. And I told him, I'm not going on your fucking show. I'm not doing the Stern audience hates my guts because I cover other shit that's going on in the world. And yet, if I did my material strictly on Howard Stern related stuff after the fact, they would have then pissed on me about not getting over the show. So it's like a no-win situation, and I'm glad I'm kind of out of that fucking thing. But I always feel like eventually they'll find me on this show and they'll fucking contact you to like try to fucking like fuck with me and like try to drive me fucking crazy and shit. You know what I mean?
I don't think you have to worry about it. This show is not as big as you think it is, Hans.
When you plan on getting big, though, right?
I've been planning on that for about a decade. It doesn't look like at this point it's headed in that direction.
Well, I mean, listen, man. Let's battle the Illuminati together, brother. Let's bring some good into this world, man.
I try.
I
try.
I get it, man. Listen, what's it called? I just want to stop by for a minute. I don't want to do a whole hour conversation, but thank you for being my therapist for like the last 20 minutes or so. I appreciate it.
Dude, it wasn't that. It was a good conversation. It was very good. It was very interesting.
I thank you, man. I appreciate it. Peace out, man.
Take care. Have a great night. I always like when Hansi calls. I don't know why he thinks like that. All right, let's go back to the phones. While I wait for, we lost a few people. While I wait for them to call back in, let's read some super chats. Renee with a few super chats. Happy Goth Day, by the way. Today's Goth Day? Interesting, Renee. I didn't know that. Destiny versus Gorka for the second half. It's Fash Inception. Destiny and Sebastian Gorka had a debate. I did not catch that. I will have to, I guess. Maybe not. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Corey. I'm from Indianapolis.
Hey, Corey. How you doing? What was it to talk about?
Good. Hey, do you want me to use video?
It's totally up to you. If you want to, I could pull you up on the screen. If not, that's totally cool too.
Yeah, give me just a second.
Sure. Renee, I will get to your call in just a second. Let me queue up. Here we go. I'm pulling you up on the screen now. Hey, Corey, how you doing? What was it to talk about?
Hi. So I'm going through some pretty crazy legal issues that ended up with the judge removing my First Amendment rights.
Oh, wait, I think you called in before and shared this with me, right?
There we go. I'm trying to fix my camera here.
No, you were fine.
I did a super chat to try to talk to you about it, but then I got busy and I haven't had a chance to try to call in again.
All right, yeah, so why don't you, for people who haven't heard before, and honestly for myself too, why don't you run by exactly what's going on again?
Yeah, sure. So I'm not going to stretch out the personal stuff, but I got married in 2007, had a daughter in 2010, and got divorced in 2012. So when my daughter was about a year and a half. At that time, me and my ex weren't religious at all. And then her dad started becoming a pastor for a church. So she started following his footsteps and started getting more and more religious. So that was kind of the reason for the divorce.
That's, first of all, I think that is so bizarre. To get religious like that. How old was the father when he started? Was he already religious and just became a pastor, or he just got religious?
Well, both me, my ex, him, like we're all like born and raised Christian. Like I'm not that religious anymore. And he wasn't going to church for maybe a decade or two and just decided to get back into it.
And then just jumped right into, just went full throttle, became a pastor. Wow.
Yeah, it's in a really small rural Indiana town, population of about 3,000. And it's real easy to just start a little church and, have friends and family come. So
was it truly a religious awakening, or was there some grifting going on here?
It's hard to tell. They're not very smart people, to be honest. So
okay.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything really malicious like that until I'll get to that point.
Oh, okay. Continue now.
So that's 2012. Divorce, sharing custody for 10 years. It's fine. No issues at all, really. They go to church, teach her about all that stuff. I'm supportive enough, we get along. And then 2019, out of nowhere, my ex ambushes me, tries to take full custody just for no reason. So I fight it in court. Long story short, they tell us to go to counseling, which is something I've tried to do for a long time, just being a good father that, if there's issues, let's work them out. So we go to counseling once, and then COVID hits. So she starts acting better at that point. So I think, we're done. My daughter's like 10, 11 at that point. So I thought we were over the hill. And then here's where the crazy part starts. The stepdad is a jail commander in the county. And
your daughter's stepdad?
Yeah, daughter's
okay,
stepdad.
Just make it okay.
Yeah, my ex got married like right after we got divorced, and they've been together. But yeah, he's the jail commander in this very rural county, right? Very low population. And there was a black inmate who was poisoned, and they couldn't figure out why. But when the videos were released, they saw all the staff were just making fun of her. They never gave her any kind of medical help. They were like, oh, if you can't get yourself dressed, then we're just going to leave you in here. They left her poisoned like that for 24 hours, and then she got worse. So finally they called the ambulance, and the woman died on the way to the hospital.
Oh my God.
So if they would have called at any time before that, they would have saved her life. So after that, a state investigation was opened up, and they found out that there were other inmates that had died that weren't reported properly. Now,
Due to poison?
Various reasons. Like,
Okay.
it wasn't really tracked. It's just dead bodies in the back kind of thing.
Wow.
This town is 98% white and 2% Hispanic. And I want you to guess what the race of all these inmates were that I just mentioned.
Probably mostly black, maybe some Latino.
Black.
Right.
So kind of crazy how that just keeps happening, right? So state opens an investigation, and at that point, the stepdad starts taking his family, including my daughter, to this extremely fundamentalist Pentecostal church. They're going like 4 or 5 nights a week.
And this isn't this isn't angering the dad who has his own church going on, going to the competition.
Oh yeah, it kind of did.
Okay.
Like, I think it put strain on that part of the family because he felt betrayed, but he was supportive eventually. But it's not a normal, like, just every Sunday church. It was like 4 or 5 nights a week. They would keep the kids out past midnight, get them all delirious and speak in tongues.
Oh boy.
Full denim skirts. She's not allowed to cut her hair anymore. She lost all her friends at school when this started happening, and they hid it all from me. So, the what is it?
You
You
still have custody at this point, right?
Yeah, right.
So you are
Still have
seeing
legal
her,
custody.
and you're seeing these physical changes.
Yes, it was very sudden, very drastic, and they hid it from me. But with shared custody, you have to, anytime there's a change of like address, medical, or education, you have to like discuss it with the other parent, right? Or at least inform them. But they hid all that from me. I finally figured out what was going on, and then filed to the court. It's a violation of her court order. I'm like, we need to talk about this in court. And then we ended up going to court. She doesn't provide evidence for anything. It wasn't like anything weird. This was in 2022, May of 2022. And 5 days later, the judge gives his order, and he removes my legal custody, and he removed my First Amendment rights by ordering that I'm not allowed to talk about religion.
That's just
actually written down in an order.
But you retain. This is insane. But you do retain custody.
Well, visitation rights at this point.
Visitation.
I lost my legal custody, but yeah, that's the thing, right?
Wait, so she moved and did all this stuff, and you lost legal custody?
Yes, because I was taking her to court because she was violating our court order.
Is the judge? Does the judge know the stepdad?
Yes, he should have recused himself. Small town, the courthouse and the jail are right next to each other. They've known each other their whole lives. They've worked together for like 20 years. And the stepdad has served as like on both sides of different, cases throughout the years, just being the jail commander, right? So the judge definitely should have recused himself at this point.
That's insane. And it's very clear what's going on here. Yeah. Have you considered taking it beyond the current court and seeing if another court would hear you? Where's that standing at?
So this is when it gets even more off the rails, right? So it's odd at this point because I guess the conditions were so bad that he had to take away my constitutional rights and my legal custody, but he didn't change visitation at all. So at that point, all the drop-offs are the same. I'm still seeing my daughter. And then we file for an appeal because obviously this is insane, right? So we file, get a couple lawyers, file with the Indiana Appellate Court. And the day after that hits the record, my ex doesn't drop my daughter off. This was July 8th, 2022. So I haven't seen my daughter since then. It's been
2 years.
Yep.
Has she reached out to you?
She was brainwashed in 3 months. It's pretty insane. And her mom is extremely controlling. I actually caught her texting as my daughter. I worked with the phone company and got all the proof and everything. But none of that mattered to the court. So, along with appealing, we requested a new judge, which we were allowed to do. And we hoped to get out of the county, but the second judge was in the same county. He also should have recused himself. He made us wait all the way until December, 6 months for a hearing. We went to our hearing, and then he ghosted us. So this was the beginning of 2023. We got the appeal back January of 2023. State of Indiana was like, yeah, this is fucked up, right? They gave me my constitutional rights back and my legal custody, but X still hasn't dropped her off and stuff, right? So we had to wait 3 months before we could, it's called a lazy judge rule is the shorthand for it. If a judge doesn't give you an order within 3 months, you're allowed to take it up to the state. So we did that. And the county where this judge works is supposed to file one piece of paper saying, okay, we're going to send the case up to the state. And guess what they forgot to do?
Send that piece of paper?
That one paper. Oh, we're sorry that the clerk was new. She didn't know what she was doing. So we waited from March 2023 all the way to November to get that piece of paper filed. So finally, after all this, the state's watching, they're pissed off at the judges. We finally have a new judge outside of the county, and our hearing is set for July 2nd. So we're hoping someone that's not, knows the family, is helping them out, will actually be able to help me and my daughter. But we'll see how that goes.
Oh my God. This is an insane story.
Yeah, so the appellate attorneys actually told me, they did, one of them's Dan Cannon. I don't know if you know him, University of Louisville law professor. He was one of my appellate attorneys.
Okay.
He's the one that took down Kim, the baker, anti-gay baker lady in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
So he knows his shit. And my other appellate attorney was Jessica Wegg, who took down Larry Nasser.
Wow. Okay.
I think he was Michigan State, the creepy doctor guy.
Right.
But anyway, they're both amazing. They did all their research, and they found out that this is unprecedented. A judge has never specifically taken away someone's constitutional rights. Like, you could argue that, like, indirectly they have to, like, a group or something before, but never has a judge in an order said, I'm taking away your constitutional right. It's just unbelievable.
I'm just like in shock over everything. So right now we're looking at just waiting for this July court date.
Yep. So it's technically our fourth judge. It's the first one out of the county. It's pretty much our last chance because my daughter's almost 14 now. So, childhood's almost over at some point. It's just what it is, right?
Right. That's, I don't even know what to say. This is an insane story.
Yeah. It's
obviously
it's a crossroads of a lot of issues.
It's funny because obviously the I guess the hook here for the broader audience is this, what you just mentioned, this insane overreach with basically curtailing your First Amendment rights, saying you can't talk about religion with your daughter.
Right.
But then you have all this other stuff, this corruption based on who knows who, and just conveniently forgetting to do things to delay the case as much as possible.
Yep. There's a lot of issues, and I have a lot of people ask me, like, the judge is clearly interfering, doing something wrong, taking away your rights. So what repercussions are there? And the answer is there are none, really. It's he can get voted out. That's about it. It's just judges are kind of immune to, I don't know.
Have you is this story known in your town?
A little bit. It was covered in a couple papers. I tried to reach out to other news people and newspapers, but no one really seemed to care.
Well,
I sent you an article on Skype.
Okay, let me.
I'm not sure how to view it from here. There we go. Also, here's a Rolling Stone did cover that jail death. So I just sent you that if you wanted to pull that up.
Oh, okay.
But it's crazy. Like a few months after that, there was just a, I don't know, I'm sorry, the right term, mentally handicapped man who checked himself into the hospital in the town next over, and he ended up pulling a nurse's hair. So they called the police, sent him to jail, and you can guess how people in that kind of jail treat a person like that. They immediately put him in solitary confinement and forgot about him for 23 days.
Jeez.
The guy tried to eat his mattress. It's all on video.
Oh my God.
Same people. No one ever gets in trouble. Same guy's in charge.
All right, I'm gonna look more into this. This is fascinating, and it's a horrible story, honestly. What do you know what the current status is of your daughter, where they are, what they're doing? And I know you said you haven't seen her in like 2 years, and you're waiting for this July court date. But have you been able to keep up in any way, shape, or form to just know if she's even what she's doing, if she's okay?
Yeah, not really. I go to this. She's in band, so I go to the band concerts, but that's about it.
Oh, so you've been able to see her, I guess, from far away, or
right? Yeah. But I should be allowed to see her at school, but her mom put a note in the school record that says that I'm not allowed to. And I went in and talked to both the principal and the superintendent, and I showed them the court order. I'm like, that's not true. And they're like, we don't care. We're going to believe her.
Wow. What is she telling people about you?
I'm sure everything terrible. Like, I'm religious as them, so they lean hard on the atheist thing, and they just attack me in any way. There's a term for this. It's called parental alienation, and it's when one parent strategically removes the other parent from the kid's life.
Jeez. All right, I'm gonna look more into this, but I really appreciate you calling in to discuss this.
Yeah, no problem.
And definitely do keep me updated with keep us updated with what happens.
I will.
I hope for the best. I hope that everything works out in, honestly works out in the favor of the child, because I think that's what everybody wants, and whatever is best for the kid. And it seems like, based on what you're telling me, you're just a dad who cares about your kid, and that.
Yeah, I'm not going to give up fighting.
Yeah. And
I had a question for you though, Matt.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
How do we fix our country?
Oh, we can't. It's done. I don't even know anymore. We're so far gone. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, I don't even. I guess I was. I thought we were headed in the right direction. And it's just clear we're not. It was all a facade for a couple of years, maybe over a decade. It felt like we were back on track after Bush. Obama wasn't great, but he felt he was the guy you'd vote for to get rid of Bush and then back on the right track. And then Bernie 2016 gave you this feeling that, we're going the right way, and then the squad getting voted in felt like, we're getting more and more progressives and everything. And then ever since 2020, it's felt like, no, that's not the case. We're not going in that direction. Those were just those were the 2016 to 2020. That was the the outlier.
Yeah.
We're just back on where everything is. This is America. This is what we are. This is who we are. Maybe I'm feeling a
Are we
little bit
just
doomer.
waiting for someone from one of the parties to save us?
No, I don't even think that anymore. I'm just at the point where like literally like all you could do now is literally just enjoy your family and if you have kids, enjoy your kids and make the best of that. We're not going to be in a world where I mean, maybe we get little moments every now and then where it feels like a better world is possible. Like today for me, like seeing Ireland and Norway and Spain come out and say they're recognizing Palestine as a state, that felt good. That felt good. But then it also feels like, honestly, as long as the U.S. holds out and says no, what doesn't matter? Does it matter? Is any state? Like the entire world, the UK included, could come out and say it. But if the US doesn't say it, does it matter?
Yeah, every time I think I can't be more disappointed in Biden, he proves me wrong.
Yeah.
What about third parties and all that? Why don't those succeed?
Well, we're just not set up for a third party, and it's the system we have is meant for two parties. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be Democrats and Republicans, but third parties don't take it seriously. There should have been there's no way, and I don't see it happening in our lifetime. This should have been happening. There should have been something building for decades, but no third party has taken it seriously to the point of building itself up from the bottom up. Starting with local races and ingraining itself into the U.S. Political system in that way. They just go straight for the presidency, and that's just not how it's gonna work. It's not how you're gonna win. It's not how you're gonna do it.
Got it. Well, it has been nice talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wish maybe in 6 or 7 months ago, maybe I would have felt a bit differently. But
yeah,
this has been I've been very doomer these past couple of months because it does feel like everything.
Doomed, right?
Yeah, everything that can be bad is bad, and everything that can be good is not currently happening. There's not even that like spark of hope of something in the background chugging along that's just waiting for its moment. There's not that. Like you felt that in 2016, you felt that in 2019.
Could someone organize underground everyone across the country?
Yeah, I wish there was something going on.
I mean, what's stopping people from doing that?
And there's no money, no ability to get people like that. There's not enough people. What do you need money for? Well, you need money to get people together to organize. At that scale, you definitely need money. I guess. We saw what happened with someone who Bernie Sanders had an incredible amount of money and support from people all over the country, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah. So one issue I see with that is a lot of people just don't like politicians. They want an outsider. So I'm from the Midwest, and I talk to Trump supporters all the time. And do you know what the number one reason they like him is?
Because he was a politician. He's an outsider.
Yeah, he's an outsider.
I mean, he's
true or not.
Right. That's how they view it. Right. But I mean, that argument is why it's not going to happen in the Democrats for this generation, because people who are the Democratic voting base faithful view any outsider as Trumpian, regardless. They think that's what makes Trump Trump. They just don't like the people who think they know the most about politics really don't know shit. It's that simple. But they are faithful voting base who goes out and votes. I mean, how do I know they don't know shit? I mean, it's a broad generalization. Not everybody, but you can just see it in the online discourse when people are talking about why they vote for someone or why they view someone as Trumpian or whatever. It's just complete bullshit. It's just about feelings. What makes Trump Trump isn't that he was an outsider. What makes Trump Trump is that he's a fascist. What makes Trump Trump is the policies he wants to enact. It's not the bad words he says. It's not the fact that he wasn't a senator or a congressman or a state rep first. That has nothing to do with who Trump is. But that's what they think. They think these things make Trump who Trump is. I mean, it's maybe best case scenario is that we just wait out for the boomers to be gone and Gen X to be gone. Honestly, I don't know what if you're a Gen Xer, but unfortunately,
no, I'm a millennial. I just got a gray beard.
Okay. Unfortunately, a lot of Gen Xers became radicalized. I mean, I don't think they were ever so much about change and progressivism as the generations after them, but they certainly became further right. In a lot of senses, I honestly think Gen X is further right than the Boomers.
Yeah.
But I don't. So far, unless something else happens, some big event happens. It seems like millennials, for the most part, and obviously the younger generations like Gen Z, are holding down the same sort of viewpoints and beliefs that they held in their younger age, which isn't the case for the older generations.
Right. Yeah,
so
that's
hopefully this just changes as the older voting base becomes made up of millennials and then Gen Zers and Gen Alpha then and then so on. It means that, maybe we'll see the change we hope to see in the world when we're in our, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah, but we're kind of out of time, right? And we need to do something relatively soon for climate change, mass migration.
Right. Well, that's the
world.
The world's going to look a little bit different.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on your idea that it takes a bunch of money to organize.
I mean, it
so
does.
If there was something
it
going
does.
on, if there's something going on out there, taking no money, just the people working together, would you work with them? Or would you require them?
I mean, people need the ability to do this work without needing to worry about, the bare necessities. Requires money. It just does. Like you see the age cohort that goes out to protests and is able to partake in activism a lot. It's either retirees or college students. It's just the sad facts. And organizing at a larger scale, like, obviously the age demographic is a bit more diverse when it comes to, like, being able to protest for Palestine, for example, because you're not trying to it's protests that can happen anywhere that is basically meant to push politicians. It's not trying to completely start a systemic revolution in the country in terms of who's in power. Like, I don't think anyone going out for Palestine is under any assumption that they're going to completely change the makeup of our politicians, but they do believe that by going out and changing enough minds, they can push politicians in a certain way, or at least get people to withhold their money and boycott certain organizations and companies.
I think one issue most politicians have is, they look at those voters, like the likely voters, I think they call them. But what about the other 2/3 of the country who care about the country but don't feel like the government's working for them at all? So they're just checked out, don't want to vote.
Right. The problem is getting them out to vote, because the unfortunate reality of the situation is electoral politics runs this country. Like, electoral politics is how you enact change. Like, yes, Martin Luther King Junior did not need to be elected, but if, for example, I don't know, if LBJ wasn't president when he was, during the civil rights movement, would we have gotten what we got, or would there, if it was if someone else was in charge, would something different have happened? Electoral politics is important. The problem is, and I feel this way too, especially after the past 7 months, is that sometimes it really demoralizes you, and it's just,
Right.
yeah. It's I guess for the going forward, I guess you can say, like, be ready for your favorites to lose, and be ready to have I'm not saying anyone specific. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Be ready to take steps back. Be ready to take steps forward when you don't realize you're taking steps forward. For example, someone getting elected who, you can find allyship with that maybe you weren't expecting. But it's not gonna. Don't get too attached to the personalities, because you don't know who's going to be there and who's going to change. Fetterman's a great example of why you should
That's a
put
great
very
example.
little. Yeah.
But you just reminded me. So, we see this all the time. There are candidates that we really like, their policies, positions, they're usually local, they know the people, but then they lose because they get outspent in the primary, right? Like, how many times does that happen across the country? And, like, how easy to just go and collect and organize those people? You know what I mean?
Say that one more time, so you cut out for a second.
Yeah, sorry. Am I breaking up?
No, you sound fine now. It's just like a split
Okay,
second.
cool. So, like, we see this countless times where someone is running for office. We like their policies, they're a grassroots candidate, but in the last minute they get outspent, usually in the primary.
Right.
And, those people are all over the country. So, like, how hard would it be to start a party, start working with those people?
Right. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's every race is going to be unique. For example, like, look what AOC did. Like, I still think that,
Yeah.
And I think AOC is great. I know there's people have critiques of her, and I think it's totally legit to criticize some of her policy positions. But I think overall, she's been exactly what you want, and I think she's actually playing things pretty smart, because she realizes that she has a chance to be. If there is a glimmer of hope, I said there's no glimmer of hope. I do think she is our shot at maybe getting someone who's pretty progressive, pretty high up in office. I think every race is going to be different. I do think that meeting people is going to continue to be the most important thing you can do. The problem is that's not always possible. I mean,
You said meeting people?
Meeting with people. If you're running for office, meeting with your people, meeting with voters to get them out. That's what she did. She knocked on doors. She spent months.
I know. She's an inspiration.
Months out there meeting with people, to the point where voters went out and they were like, this woman knocked on my door and I spoke with her. She's a real person. I'm going to vote for her. I don't know who this. Never met this other guy. Never met the incumbent. He's been my representative for how long? Who the fuck is he?
Here's a question for you. Could a presidential candidate canvass like that?
No.
Why not?
I mean, I don't even think a senatorial candidate could canvass like that. Like, obviously, I'm not saying they can't knock on doors and meet with people, but AOC won because she met with as many people, like a lot of people in her district, and they went out and voted for her because of that meeting. People aren't voting for someone because they know they did this. People are voting for this person because they actually met them. Like, I can tell you it works because my wife's grandmother, I'll never forget. She's a Peruvian immigrant. Didn't speak much English. A local candidate for New York statewide office came and knocked on her door. I was there when she came and met with her And, they couldn't really communicate much, but she said the basics, vote for me. This is what I believe in, such and such. And when it was time to vote, a month later or something, she asked me who was that young woman who came to visit her and seek out her vote because she wanted to vote for her. It works. Meeting people works. Now, obviously, if this woman was a Republican, my wife's grandma was a Democrat, she wouldn't have voted for just for the meeting. But you have someone who is, if it's between a number of candidates that you would potentially vote for, and this is the one that you met because they came to your house and knocked on your door and took that time, it's persuasive for the vast majority of people in this country. I mean, I don't vote that way. I've had candidates knock on my door, and they were not the most progressive candidate, and the most progressive candidate did not knock on my door because they just didn't have the ability to have that ground game. That's not how I vote. But I would say the vast majority of people vote that way. And if you are a good candidate and you do that, I mean, you have the total package there, I think. Again, this is only possible for local races on a national, nationwide position, House representative, depending on the district. That's what AOC was able to do. But senators, doing that in an entire state, and then presidents, not even. You can't even. That's just not possible.
They spend 3.5 years doing it.
I mean, still not going to meet with as many people as you need. I mean, listen, it could be the difference. It could be the difference. It could be the difference maker. Like if a candidate has the funds and the backing of the party, and they, it's a close race. Those people who they met with could be the difference maker. But you can't win. You can't pull an AOC on a scale of a statewide race.
I agree. And I think we can't take it so literally. What if they recorded their interactions, made a YouTube channel with each one dated?
It's not the same.
And you hit each area, rural, everywhere, all 50 states.
Nope. It would be a good thing to do. Obviously, it'd help your campaign, I'm sure, but it will not have the same effect. People want to vote for something real. And there's nothing more real than that person showing up on your doorstep and meeting with them, or just meeting them at an event or something. That the candidate goes to your workplace, goes to your an organization you're part of, their meeting or something. People will vote for someone who they've met. There's just, I mean, it's not just voting. That's the case for a lot of things. You're more likely to go into business with someone that you've met. You're more and are familiar with. You're more likely to do a lot of things with someone who you've personally met over someone that you've never met. There's just that familiarity there. There's just, it just is what it is.
Gotcha.
It goes back to the scam economy episode. People, AI voice assistants might be helpful in certain functions and features, but people will always crave that human interaction. So if you're able to deliver that human interaction to someone, you will have an upper hand on whoever you're against that doesn't, whether that be in business or politics or whatever.
Gotcha. Well, I've got to get to bed, but I do appreciate your time.
I hear you. No, great call. And keep me updated. And I might reach out depending on... I'm going to read up on this case, and I might, if I have time to look more into it, I might reach out to you off air.
Sure. Sounds good. I'll keep you up to date.
All right.
Thanks
Take care.
time.
Have a great night. And, definitely keep me up to date. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Great call. All right, folks. I'll take one more call, and then we'll call it a night. I'll read the super chats. Let's get back to the super chats here. Penelope. Oh wait. Let me just read this super chat. Penelope Diote with a $5 super chat. Great reporting as usual. First coverage that has mentioned the legal precedent of the Bette Midler case. Oh, thank you, Penelope. I appreciate that. Let's go to the phones. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's. I gotta turn on the YouTube 1 second.
Yeah, shut off the YouTube. I hear myself. Yep.
Hi, my name's Cody. I'm calling from Atlanta. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hey, Cody from Atlanta. I can hear you. What's going on? What did they talk about?
Oh, well, you said you were going off. So, hey.
No, I'm here to take another call.
Keep you too long. So, I just wanted. Here we can put a button on it. It's pretty. World's pretty. As far as like, dude asking about two-party systems and stuff like that in the American system. We're using voting laws by like slave owners, right?
Yeah,
right. 1812 Mystic Salamander lines and.
Hey, there's people in this country.
Non-electoral college, right?
There's people who want to go back to the days when you had to own property to vote.
Yeah, they want to make women property.
Yeah.
That makes dudes feel really, really good. It's weird. It's really scary when people get into that shit.
Yeah,
like,
I don't. Yeah,
that's not a good place. A lot of people watch stuff like that too, man. Really, man. I've got this weird fundamentalist that I talk to on Twitter, man. That dude, he frightens me every fucking day. I'm like, wow. Anyway, I like what you said about taking the wins when you can get them. Here out in Georgia, Gabriel Sanchez won. He's won his primary for District 20. I think it's 24. The numbers mixed up on my head. But as Democratic Socialist candidate, he won his primary. That's pretty crazy for Georgia. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. DSA candidate. It's pretty fucking crazy. It's Georgia, man. It's Georgia.
Well, Georgia's a state you got two Democratic senators there. And they're not bad either. I mean, for Georgia, I mean they're not. I wouldn't call them progressives, but they are more progressive than some senators in blue states, like states that are.
Warnock is governed by the Israeli lobbying system. Let's just say that.
He's good on other issues, and I gotta say, what's his face? Oh my God. What's the other guy's name?
If you're talking about. If you're going higher or whatever, Brian Kemp, man, remember he held a kid at gunpoint.
No, I'm talking about your other senator. Not Warnock. Ossoff.
Yeah, John Ossoff. I'm sorry, man.
He's been surprisingly good. I remember when he ran as like a moderate for House, and then he's more. Again, not a progressive, but he's been running more progressive than some Democrats in blue states.
Yeah, he's kind of like almost a center-right kind of guy,
Yeah.
It's like Democrats or Republicans from the 80s or something. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll take that over some of the I'll take that over some of the blue dog Democrats we got.
Yeah, I hear you. I was just saying, I like what you said about taking the wins because it's going to get pretty bleak if Donald Trump wins, man. And I think there's enough people that I don't think he's gaining a lot of voters, man. But I still think there's a lot of people that hate Biden just that much.
No, I agree. Listen, I'm telling people straight up. This election, I'm not going to tell you to, I've never been the type of person to vote shame or you must vote for or no.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, no, strategically vote for this person.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that this year. But I will say, if you are in a swing state, think about how you want to vote, and I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but think about where you can do the most and how voting strategically in your state works. And just do that. Because, I don't want Trump to win, but also I'm not going to do the work for someone who is supporting what's going on in Gaza. even if they are the lesser of evil on other issues. Just vote strategically.
I watch these pro-Israeli lives on TikTok, man. Like just people talking. I don't know if you ever participated with TikTok. It's pro-American, pro. It's wild, man. There's a lot of.
I mean, listen. There is a completely overlapping Venn diagram between the American right wing and the Israeli government and their supporters.
Oh yeah, I remember my friend going to Israel when we were like 12 or 13 or whatever, after it was like bar mitzvah or whatever. I totally remember that. Like,
listen,
'cause that's what you get to do, right?
Listen, I think it's I don't think listen, of course there are people in Israel, there are Israelis who are not supportive of what's going on. But this is very much a country that is much like America post 9/11, where everybody lost their fucking mind. And the sad matter of it is, and polling shows this, the vast majority do support what's going on. And to some extent, maybe it's becoming less and less as time goes on, and there's more of a breakup with Netanyahu's way of doing things as they blame him for it. But this is there's going to need to be some sort of.
America's made its choice. Biden's talking about sanctions against ICC countries right now, and
this is the whole thing with the ICC is insanity. It is amazing to watch all these Democrats talk about this. They are doing exactly what they would be like fucking ringing the 5-alarm fire about if this is like a Trumpian thing. They are doing the exact thing.
It's incredible. I was just gonna say it's incredible to watch Biden be like, "So hello, international citizens, we salute you. Thank you for your war on Putin." And then how dare you hold a standard? It's unbelievable. It's fucking unbelievable. Sorry.
All right. No, it is. There's no doubt about it. History is going to prove all of these people wrong.
If there's any history left, buddy.
The question is how far away.
Dude, Donald Trump is talking. Dude, Donald Trump is talking about rebuilding the Capitol. You know what I mean? He's talking about mass deportations. This is gonna get pretty goddamn bleak.
Right.
So I'm just saying, but
it is Biden's election to lose. Trump is not growing his
sacrificial lamb for Jesus.
Trump is not growing his base, but Biden is demoralizing his. So
I don't know, man. I don't know people's memories as far dude, for most people that vote and I've tended to notice that people that involve themselves a lot in presidential elections talking about this shit all the time because it tends to be like sports for them now or whatever.
Oh yeah, they don't think about it's just Biden versus Trump, not like a sport, like a team thing, not anything to do with what this actually means for them and regular people. But listen, I'm not even saying like the majority, and to be clear, the majority of Democrats do not care about what is happening in Gaza. It's sad, but it's the truth. However, in an election like this, which demographics care and where they are located can make all the difference. And that is where Biden's position on Gaza will absolutely hurt him in the election with Trump if he doesn't change course. It's early still, obviously. It's not early for the people in Gaza.
No,
but in terms of
8 months too
Biden's electoral chances, he can turn it around. He's choosing not to. He does not. I mean, and that's the thing too. He's not going to be punished by this. I've made this point before. People will look at it as Biden being punished if he loses. He won't be punished. He doesn't care. He's an old man. He's gonna go and fucking lick ice cream every day in his giant home in Delaware. He don't give a shit. He's not gonna be punished if he loses. He'll go into retirement. It'll probably be better for his health if he loses. You're probably gonna help him live longer if he loses. but like that's where we are. That's how this like we lose no matter what. Like the question is how much do we lose? And I want us to lose the least amount possible. But I'm also not going to do the work for somebody else.
I wanted to mention for your other guest who came up and told the family about the local judge. I don't know if he's ever heard of Americans United, but it's a good organization. They do separation of church stuff. Separate stuff. Put in your chat. If you go to AU, it's like AU.org. You can file a complaint that your religious liberties. I mean, they represent like atheists too. So, I mean, it could be a place for you to check out, man. That was some rough stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen, dude. There's a local jail out here in North Georgia, and a guy was on methadone, and he got arrested on a probation violation, and they wouldn't give him his methadone, and the dude off himself in a cell. It's Oglethorpe County, Georgia. It's the cruelty in the county jails all over America is scary stuff. Scary stuff.
It is absolutely. We are in a bizarre state, I guess you can say. I have no idea what to even how to describe what's going on, but things are bad right now.
Well, it's also local politics and shit too, man. Like that shit that he was talking about, man. That's what the religious zealots have been training everyone to do, to take a little small municipalities everywhere and shit and get their foothold. It's fundamentalist stuff, is what it sounds like. That stuff's real scary.
No, you are. It is. It is.
Yeah. So, anyways, it was nice to finally meet you, Matt. I've watched you on the Majority Report for a while.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for calling in.
I like the A's on your shirts. You wear some band shirts. It's got an A with a circle on them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's Defiance. They're a punk band. I think they're out of California.
I think you have a Subhuman shirt too. That's the one. That's one of my favorite.
I do have a Subhuman shirt. Yep. Right now I'm wearing my one of my wrestling shirts. This is NWO Wolfpack to be specific.
I used to watch Anarchy Wrestling League up in North Georgia. That's I don't watch wrestling on TV. I don't watch a lot of TV anyways.
Oh, Indie. I think I've heard of them. Indie Fed. I think I've heard of them out of Georgia.
Yeah, well,
little indie company, but yeah.
Yeah, it's tiny, man. But man, you know what I saw there? Hold on a second. Hold on. It was Memorial Day, right? This is ago. It was Memorial Day, and there was like 7 of us, and we were just sitting there, and then the song came on, and I can't remember the artist, but I'll look it up. It was about Memorial Day, and the song was about told from the perspective of a dead soldier coming to Arlington. Oh, I made it back to Arlington. Do you know that song? I don't know who does it, but it's told from Arlington song, country. Good. Yeah, Arlington. It's Trace Adkins. If you've never heard that song, man, there's like people standing during it. It was a beautiful thing. It was on a Memorial Day. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. Anyways, I don't know if you never heard that song. It's a crazy song. All right, I'm gonna go. Nice talking to you.
No, great call. Please call in again. It was great. All right, folks. That's it for calls. We are now after midnight. It's I'm like I said, I'm trying to keep it tight so we're not doing those shows where I'm half asleep. I'll be more wide awake when I got other people on the show with me. I'll be going along with the super chats, I'm sure, tomorrow with Leftist Mafia. I'll be in the Majority Report tomorrow too. Let me thank Humorous Report. Thank you so much for the raid on Twitch. What else? Let's see. I'll see you tomorrow, Humorous Report. And Smelly Uno, thank you for subscribing on Twitch with Prime. And over on YouTube, Super Chats. Jake Cass with the super chat. Iran's prime minister was the third Boeing whistleblower? It's a good one, actually. All right, folks. Who should I rate on Twitch? Oh, look at me over here. See, guys, I can't go any longer. Who should I rate on Twitch? I don't want to be yawning with callers. That's not nice. Let's see. Let's see who's on right now. Let's raid. I haven't rated Echoplex Media in a while. Let me do that. I was just looking to see who is on right now, and that's the one that stuck out to me. All right, folks. Oh, wait. Matt, before you go, have you heard all these bad build Butch Body songs that people have been making about MTG? No, I have not. Mr. Oakley over on Twitch asked. I have not heard that. Are these AI songs? I mean, I guess I don't mind that if it's just like silly stuff that you wouldn't be able to make otherwise. Like, you know, meme stuff. That's fine, I guess. That's a good use of AI. I guess. If it's, you know, I'll have to check it out. Thank you for the Mr. Opie says, "Oh no, like Isaac Hayes Jr.'s son made one." What? All right, I'll have to check it out. All right, let's raid Echoplex. All right, everyone. Great show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Majority Report tomorrow. Leftist Mafia tomorrow. Take care. I'll see you all then. Or next time on Doomed or Scam Economy.